Stark is free? Who's surprised that Stark is free? Fucking do it. Alrighty. Give me a second, chat. Give me a second. All right. Are you watching the HSR stream today? Yep. I'll be up for the HSR stream later.
シオンの監視役だよ。監視役なの？まあね。シオンのやつ、私と比べると突拍子もないことをするからさ。
Oh yeah, Shion does do crazy things.
監視役が必要なわけ。
She killed everybody last chapter.
ミオンもシオンもその意味においちゃ互角だと思うぞ。
Well, it's because this probably is Shion. Keiichi-kun cut into the conversation. They ended up making a lot of noise, teasing each other like they always do. Mion made it sound like that man, Kasai-san, is some sort of territory boss in Okinomiya. It wouldn't be easy for me to meet him in person. But because he's Shi-chan's watchdog, I might be able to find a way. The problem, though, is that I don't have any connections to Shi-chan either. We hang around every once in a while whenever she comes to Hinamizawa, but I've never called or visited her. I have no idea how we can meet. Even if I could meet Kasai-san, there's no guarantee that he'd help me. He seemed like the person who doesn't like to gossip about others. He told me about Rina-san at the coffee house only because Shi-chan pushed him to. Plus, the situation could grow worse very quickly while I waited for the chance to meet him. So any help he might offer would come too late. I remember Kasai-san told me that, as her next step, Rina-san usually uses her partner to threaten the catch. That would signify the end of her performance. They were going to take all of my father's money. I wasn't feeling a sense of crisis yet, but that might be coming very soon. Even as I was at school taking a class peacefully, that man might already be at the house right at this moment, threatening my father to hand over his bank books. Once I become anxious, I get more and more anxious. I could feel a big pressure on my chest as if the ceiling had collapsed on me.
いやー、平和すぎて退屈だぜ。
Well, Keiji just comes off as a fucking douchebag. Keiichi-kun talks to me
そう
yawning.
かな。レナは平和で退屈なの大好きだよ。
俺はごめんだね。せめて火星人が襲来するくらいのことが、毎週とは言わないまでにも月末くらいには欲しいところだぜ。あ、定期テストはなしでだぜ。
もし本当に火星人が攻めてきて世界中が滅ぼされてひなみ沢も焼け野原になったら、ケイチ君は退屈が紛れて満足かな。
Whoa, Rena, we weren't talking about all that.
かな。
いや、そこまでは言ってねえよ。何かアクシデントの一つもないと退屈で溶けちまいそうだぜって言いたかっただけだぜ。
He had no idea what I've been going through. Of course, that's why he says that. But I was still irritated by his insensitivity. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't be satisfied with such a peaceful life. He never has to doubt that today and tomorrow will be as fun as yesterday. I was all too aware that boring and peaceful days could be destroyed all of a sudden I knew that boring and peaceful days could come to an end all of a sudden because your mom wanted to divorce your dad. I knew that you could feel like you didn't belong anywhere in your house because your dad had gotten a new girlfriend. Even so, you had to repeat the same kind of day over and over again. That's why I want to live every day happily in order to be prepared when the world comes to its end.
レナは日々が幸せそうでいいよな。そういうのもスキルなのかな。ちょっと羨ましいぜ。
そんなの羨ましがられても困るな。
日々を退屈でなく幸せに過ごすのって何かコツでもあるのか？
Oh, he's so
あるなら教えてくれよ。
This
俺も
fucking
得得してみ
guy.
たいぜ。
そんなの簡単だよ。気づくだけだもん。
気づくって？
There's no way he could realize it. And it was probably better that he didn't because that meant he was truly happy.
気づくだけだよ。幸せな日々が有限であることに。
What the fuck? Wonka W. The three of us walked home from school like we always did. Mi-chan said goodbye to us at the corner of the street where she took her separate way home. She walked away, waving, but I chased after her.
みーちゃん。何？
Mi-chan apparently thought she dropped something and she looked around to see what she dropped.
忘れるところだった。実はね、昨日喫茶店でしーちゃんと笠井さんに会ったの。その時にね、笠井さんの落とし物を拾ったの。
Oh, she's lying. She's lying. Of course, he hadn't dropped anything. I was lying. If I could meet him, I'd just show him whatever, tell him I thought it was his, and apologize for my mistake.
へえ、あ、そう。それありがとう。届けとくよ。それでね、レナが直接返したいの。
Mi-chan looked surprised. I couldn't blame her. I'd met him only once. It's weird to want to give something back to in person to someone you barely know.
まあ、そりゃ構わないけど、なんでまた。サングラスにおひげがね、ちょっぴり可愛かったの。はう。
Could I fudge my true intention with my cute mode? I tried it anyway. Mi-chan usually takes words at their face value, and indeed she seemed to buy it.
口ひげを引っこ抜いてお持ち帰りしちゃダメだよ。で、どうかな？会えるかな？忙しいのか暇なのか、
全然見当つかない人だからね。今度ひなみ沢に来る用事がないか聞いておくよ。
Oh boy. I need to know when as soon as possible. Of course, I wasn't going to say I wanted to meet him today, but at least tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
なんだよ、お前ら何やってんだ？
レナがね、新しい恋に目覚めちゃったんだってさ。
違うよ
なんだそりゃ、面白そうな話だな。俺も混ぜろ混ぜろ。
I didn't want her to leave it up in the air, so I told her. I think I should give it back to him as soon as possible. I'm sure he's looking for it too. Mi-chan said, okay, twice and walked away waving. I hadn't yet thought about how I was going to ask for help when I would meet him. He seems to be in a higher position than Rena-san and her partner. If he agreed to help me, it would be very encouraging. But there was a possibility that he'd tell me he didn't want to interfere in other people's private matters. He could just say the whole thing was another love triangle between a father, his daughter, and his lover.
じゃあな、レナ。また明日な。
また明日ね。
I said goodbye to Keiichi-kun and walked home alone. After Keiichi-kun was gone, everything went quiet and my head became clear. What I needed at that moment was quiet time to think about what I should do from then on. I shouldn't depend on Kasai-san to solve my problem. He'd most likely decline my request, so I'll have to think about some alternatives. It'd probably be better that I just do that. A love triangle between a father, his daughter, and his lover, those words bothered me because I've seen an unhappy triangle like that before. That sort of thing had happened to Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun experienced it last year. He fought for his sister in a triangle with his aunt. It was the same situation as mine. I'm trying to fight to protect my father. Satoshi-kun fought alone. Nobody helped him. All I did for him was give him my sympathy and compassion. I didn't think I could do anything more than that. I felt sorry for him, but I didn't really help him out. Irresponsibly, I tried to cheer him up and probably told him something that I thought would make him feel better, but that hurt him instead. I recently realized how much I hurt him with my insensitivity because Keiichi just hurt me the same way. I'm going down the same path as Satoshi-kun went last year. I feel like I'm experiencing deja vu, an unusual repetition. Would that mean that I'd be the one who gets demoned away this year? I should be okay. I wasn't thinking about running away from Hinamizawa. Was I? I wasn't thinking about running away from Hinamizawa, but I thought about running away from my home many times. That's why I made the place I could escape to in the garbage dump. That dump happened to be in Hinamizawa. But what if it wasn't? Running there would be the same thing as running away from Hinamizawa. I shouldn't think like that. Oyashiro-sama will get mad at me. Oyashiro-sama is really scary. Oh my god. I saw flickering lights in my head. Oh no, every time I tried to remember that time, my mind would stop working properly. I remember the vivid colors of my psychoactive drugs. The flickering lights and the clouds started spreading in my head. They were so bright and annoying. Don't try too hard to remember. Don't try too hard to remember. No. I couldn't stop the flickering lights in my head. I couldn't have that feeling. I had to fill my heart with another feeling. Yeah, there was no time for these crazy flickering lights in my head. I had to think about what I should do when Kasai-san declined my request for help. I had to protect my father from Rena-san and that bad man. Wait, why was I still calling her that? Rena is Rena. She's a bad person who deceived my father and tried to bring us unhappiness. Bad people bring bad things into the world without even doing anything. They're different from the other 90% of people who aren't bad. If you let them loose, they'll even ruin the people around them. When you have one bad tangerine in a box, it spreads its fungus to the other tangerines around it. That's what the bad people are like. I couldn't remember how Satoshi-kun resolved his triangle last year. But I could still see the flickering lights in my head. They're still flickering. 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 Just as the swirl of flickering lights were making me dizzy, I saw my house. I also saw Renaissance scooter parked by the side of the gate. Steal it. The moment I saw the bike, the flickering lights disappeared and I regained control of myself. Renaissance spent the night last night. She told me she had to work today in the evening, so should be leaving soon, but I didn't want to be around her, even for a little while until she left. I said, I'm home real loud, rushed into the house, pretended that my friends were waiting outside, and rushed out of the house. But Renaissance stopped me.
あら、おかえり、レイナちゃん。
あ、こんにちは。
This is the first time I thought Renaissance's smile was ugly. It only stood to reason. I had realized the scheme she was hiding behind the smile.
今日ね、お父さんと一緒にお昼は5グラまで行ってきたのよ。キーマカレーがとっても美味しいお店でね。
My father poked his head out of the living room and he says, I want to go there next time we go. Really like that curry. I wondered if he meant with me next time or with me and her. Anyway, I hated it when Renaissance says your father.
それで、レトルトをお土産に買ってきたの。後でぜひ食べてみてね。美味しいから。レイナちゃんはこのお店知ってる？
I didn't know the restaurant she was talking about. I saw it in a magazine. It's a new restaurant that just opened recently. I also remember that it was an expensive restaurant. The amount of money they spent on the take-home curry alone must have been enough to cover the cost of all of our dinners for several nights. Since I was aware of what was in the banknote, it was hard for me to stay calm.
それは楽しみです。ありがとうございますね、リナさん。
それでね、レイナちゃん。ちょっとみんなでお話があるんだけど。
Oh no, bro. Rena's about to she's about to break.
ごめんなさい。ちょっと友達を待たせてるんで出かけますね。ふう、またゴミ捨て場で宝探しなの。
レイナちゃんは宝探しが好きね。私も今度行ってみようかしら。
ではすみません。失礼します。
Every time Renaissance moved her arms or her head, the scent of her perfume struck my nostrils. I hated the smell of her perfume, so I couldn't stay there a second longer. I rushed out of the house and started running away to get away from her perfume. The rubber band inside me, the one called Rena, was stretched all the way to its limit. I'm pretty sure I'd explode and go crazy if the rubber band broke. I didn't want to feel like that inside my own house. My house was supposed to be the place where I could open my heart freely. I ran away. I ran away from there. I ran further and further away because it was no longer a place I belonged. It's not that I had a destination in mind. I was just running away. I was running to escape to a place where I did belong. Didn't I decide to fight against that woman? Didn't I decide to fight against her either by myself or with my father? But then, once I saw her fake smile, a chill ran up my back. It was like I picked up a stone, found a carpet of bugs underneath it, and put it back on the ground in a hurry. I rushed out of the house as fast as I could. Did I want to fight or did I want to run away? Was I just choosing to spend a peaceful time at my hideout, believing that tomorrow would be the same as today? I couldn't do that. I didn't know when they'd spring their trap. I couldn't afford to waste any time. I knew that deep down. I knew that, but I just wanted to run away. I couldn't stop myself from running away, and so I did run away. At times like this, the mattress in my hideout would feel soft that I knew. Get the hatchet! The cries of the Higurashi were soothing to the ears. They sounded as soft as my mattress. They were like music. They didn't force any feelings upon me. They cried as if to tell me to just be who I am. It was always so quiet here that I immediately noticed the purr of an engine coming closer. People used to come here and make a lot of noise during the dam conflict, but now nobody really comes here. This is a place forgotten. So it was rare to see somebody come through here at all. I sat on the roof of an abandoned car and waited for the intruder to go away without looking their way. But the purr of the engine stopped. I'm not stupid. If it stopped, I knew exactly who it had to be. I heard the person calling me, but I ignored it once. The person came closer, making it harder for me to ignore her, and she called my name again. I turned around this time.
リナさん。
レイナちゃん、結構耳遠い方？
Nah, this bitch.
すみません。多分逆風だったんで聞こえにくかったんだと思います。
She seemed to buy my poor excuse. She smiled and said, "Yeah, it happens sometimes."
一人？お友達は？
一人で遊んでますよ。
その年でなかなか渋いわね。
Renaissance stretched and looked across a huge garbage dump.
しかし、よくもこれだけ盛大にスクラップばっか捨てたもんよね。知ってる？昔、平坂の2丁目にもタイヤの外れた車ばっかり積んであるところがあってね。
I wasn't interested in Renaissance old story, but I pretended to listen and nodded. She doesn't take this road to go back to Okonomiya. I guess she knew I'd be here and came by to see me. What did she want? It was obvious that she was just trying to make conversation. She probably took it personally when I avoided her earlier, which must be why she was here to butter me up. It would be better for her not to have any conflicts with the daughter of the man she's seeing, no matter what the intention of seeing him is. In that sense, it was a reasonable action for her to take. While I listened to her old story, all I could think about was when she was going to leave. Didn't I have to fight against her? Didn't I decide to fight against her? Didn't I find out her plot at the coffee house in Okonomiya? Didn't I find out that this woman is squeezing money out of my father when I looked inside his cash box? I know who you are. Please leave my father alone. How easy it would be if those two sentences could solve the problem. She'd probably deny it. Even if I told her about what I heard at the coffee house, I have no evidence of her plot. If she said she did it because a vulgar man was threatening her, there would be nothing I could do. But I know this woman is a bad person. I know something horrible will happen in the near future if I waste time like this. A strange, tense feeling started coming over me, but I didn't know how to let it out. As the feeling started running high, I became unable to stand the smell of her perfume. I wanted to put a certain distance between me and her, so I climbed down the slope of the scrap heap. I kept going down and down the slope of the garbage dump. When I turned around, I saw her coming down as well, muttering. Was she following me? In order to run away from her, I started running down the slope all the way to the bottom, went around behind some trash piles, and arrived at the front of my hideout. My escape was meaningless. Not only was she going to catch up with me eventually, all I did was let her know the way to my hideout that nobody is supposed to know about. I wanted to make sure she never saw my precious hideout. I was about to leave, but then she appeared.
へえ、ちょっと素敵よね。秘密基地みたい。
私だけの秘密の隠れ家なんですよ。ここには誰も来ないし、誰にも何も聞こえません。
I felt strange hearing myself say that.
レイナちゃんだけの秘密の隠れ家？
Hey, Rena, nobody can hear you here. Kill her.
嬉しいわね。そんな場所に連れてきてもらえるなんて。
She must have thought I told her my secret base because she was worth sharing it with. She looked happy. She found the station wagon, looked inside of it through the window, and went all ooh and ah excitedly. This is a secret place that nobody else knows. I felt like my consciousness was separating from my body, like I was floating. Oh shit, bro, she's about to snap. But it didn't feel good like when I drink amazake. It was more like being carsick. I felt like I was going to throw up. My brain was probably secreting some chemical in order to avoid facing the reality that I'd have to stay with this woman, that I couldn't run away from her. But even if my brain tried to avoid recognizing it, the reality in front of me wouldn't change.
そうそう。ねえ、レイナちゃん。
なんでしょう。
どうしたの？気分悪いの？
いえ、平気です。
I inhaled fresh air and pulled my consciousness back to reality. I didn't feel like throwing up anymore, but I still felt off balance. I leaned onto a scrap of garbage to keep my balance.
私はレイナちゃんのこと好きよ。レイナちゃんは私のこと好き？
Speak the truth!
何ですか突然。
I said that because I didn't want to say that I like her.
私ね、ずっとあなたのお父さんとお付き合いをしているんだけど、いろいろと話し合ってね。
I needed to stop feeling like this. Get up, Rena. I'd hear something like this before. Part of me was trying to understand what this woman was trying to say, but another part of me was trying not to. I felt as if her words were bouncing around in my head, and I started having a headache.
それでね、これからのことを真剣に話し合ったのよ。これからの生活やいろいろよ。
What?
レイナも秋人おじさんのこと好きでしょ。それでね、お母さん。
Oh shit, bro. She's about to fucking... What's going on? Mother? What are you thinking about, Rena Ryugu? This is an important moment. You're about to have a one-on-one battle with Rena-san. No, Mom. What about my dad? What about me? I don't want you to divorce him. I don't want you to get remarried to anybody else. No, please don't divorce him. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you get remarried.
再婚なんて許さないです。
え？
Rena's probably like, what? Oh, huh?
お父さんとどういう付き合い方をしたって構いませんが、再婚なんて許さないです。
She must have not thought that I'd say it straight out like that. She looked stunned. After a while, she broke the silence with her laughter.
拒絶もあるかなとは思ってたけど、ここまではっきり言われるとは。
拒絶もあるかなと思っていました。私が拒絶していたのに気づいていたのは意外でした。
Holy shit, bro. Rena's locked in. She's fucking just spitting.
そんなのわかるでしょ。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ew!
あんた、私と目を合わせるとすぐ逃げるもん。それで分かってないなんて思ってた？子供は嫌ね。
Oh, this bitch. She frowned, revealing her ugly self. It should have been the first time I saw her face like that, but I wasn't surprised at all. Her face had looked like that to me from the beginning.
できれば上辺だけでもあんたとは仲良くしてたかったんだけど、ここまで嫌われちゃ難しいわね。私のどこが気に入んないの？高額のために教えてよ。
最初っから全部。匂いも嫌い。
Oh, she said you stinky. One vicious word came out from my mouth after another. I didn't have wings, but I felt as if I was flying up to the sky. I felt weird and uncomfortable, but also exhilarated. Yeah, this is what it feels right now to roast someone. I felt as if I was letting another me use my body. I was in the middle of a disastrous battlefield, but I felt like it wasn't even my business.
そりゃあ好都合ね。私もあんたのこと嫌いだったから、お互い様よね。なめんなクソガキ。ガタガタ言わされてえか。
Whoa!
二度と家へ来ないでください。
Oh!
再婚なんて私が絶対に許さない。
別にあんたに許してもらわなくてもいいんだけど。
Oh, Rena, you don't know Rena do well, do you? You're gonna wish you to.
まあ、あんたがうまく立ち回ってお父さんに再婚を断念させたきゃさせてごらんって。そんなの今さら意味ないし。
She didn't look intimidated by me at all, and that made me feel a little intimidated in return. Why was she so confident of her absolute control over my father? She had to have more than confidence to be able to act as fearless as this. She must have something tangible. Before I asked her what it was, she told me herself.
私ね、プロポーズされたの。
Oh, no.
嘘だ。
Oh, shit, Rena hit her with the usoda.
嘘じゃないわよ。本当よ。
It's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a big lie. She has to divorce because she got pregnant. She has to get married because she got pregnant. That's a lie, that's a big lie.
向こうからのお願いだから聞かないわけにもいかないしね。
Oh, bullshit. Christian.
指輪ももらっちゃったし、それに結婚を前提のお付き合いだったわけだしね。 指輪まで送っておいて今さらちゃぶ台返しなんてことになると最近は問題が多いわよね。
DNA test that shit.
それが最初から目的のくせに。私は聞いてるんだ。お前と鉄という男が二人で喫茶店で話しているところを聞いてるんだ。お父さんのお金を目当てに近づいたのを知っている。ひなみ沢の旦那と呼んで詐欺にかけようとしていることを知ってる。葛西さんに聞いたから全部知ってるんだ。詐欺師だってことも全部知ってるんだ。
あら、全部知ってるんだ。あらららららら。
Before I knew it, Rina was standing right in front of me. We glared at each other with our faces and almost touching.
で、レイナちゃんはそこまで知っててどうしようってわけ？
お父さんに二度と近づかないでください。
嫌よって言ったらこんな秘密の隠れ家に誘ってくれての話だからね。そういうお話かなとは思ってたのよ。だってここ秘密の隠れ家なんでしょ。誰も知らなくて誰にも何も聞こえない。
ええ、そうですよ。誰も知らなくて誰にも何も聞こえない、誰も訪れることのない忘れられた場所。
Our faces were so close to each other that our noses could almost touch. I knew what I was talking about, but I didn't know what would happen next. I couldn't back down now that I'd come to this point, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I should do.
いやだ、何をマジになってんだかね。ほらほら、仲直り。
Rina started laughing and slapped me on the back. My expression didn't change and I kept staring at Rina, but I didn't notice her real intention of putting both of her arms around my neck. The tension broke, already stretched in, and Rina squeezed my neck hard. I was openly hostile, but I didn't realize Rina's evil intention until she started choking me.
子供のくせに舐めやがってよ。もうちょいでうん千万って金が転がるんだよ。上辺だけでも仲良しってことになってりゃ小遣いの少しもやろうって思ってたのにな。口ばっかり滑らしか。うんだらねえとこでまだるっこし。血にさらせやこら。
Rina's dying. I already know she's dying. There's no way they come back from this. She has to die here. I tried to pry her hands off my neck, but I didn't have the strength to do so.
殺しはしたかなかったんだけどね。二度とこんなうまいかもにゃ会えないだろうしさ。てめえ閉めてうん千万なら悪くはないさね。どうせ巻き上げたら蒸発するつもりだったしさ。上等くれたらこの野郎。
The world around me got darker and darker. I had never known an evil intention like this, namely the intention to kill me. It didn't scare me though. That's because being scared is a feeling that people use to express how they feel when they see wildfire on the other side of a river. People on the island with the wildfire with their deaths right in front of them, they don't get scared. If I loosened my grip on her hands even a little bit, she crushed my throat. This was a simple competition to see who was stronger. Rina wanted to get into the most advantageous position, so she tried to push me down to the ground so that she could mount me. If I let her do that, I wouldn't stand a chance. I tried to keep my current position, but I was losing a lot of energy by being choked. It was only a matter of time before Rina could push me down. I lost my balance on purpose. I tried to fall backwards in order to put her off balance. I couldn't hold my breath long enough to keep up that strength competition, so I had no choice but to take that chance. We fell on the ground together, tangled together, but as Rina was strongly determined to kill me, she didn't even take her hands away from my neck after she fell. However, my action made Rina loosen her grip on my throat. It wasn't loose enough for me to break free from the grip, but it gave me a few moments to use my hands for something other than stopping her from crushing my throat. If I hadn't taken the chance, I would have been done for. That's why I tried to literally seize my chance. I moved both of my hands on the ground to seize that chance. I felt a piece of broken glass on my right hand. That was truly my chance to literally save myself from the brink of death. I cut Rina's wrist deep with the piece of glass. Rina tried to endure the pain for a few seconds, but pain that severe from someone so cornered soon broke her will. She let go of my throat to cling to her bloody wrist. I used that moment to roll her away from her. She screamed both in pain and also to try to intimidate me again. It didn't work anymore though. Intimidation only works on the opponent when the opponent is hesitant to fight. When you're already in a fight, screaming like that means nothing more than letting the opponent know how badly you're hurt. I no longer had any hesitation. I had learned from Rina. She taught me what I have to do in a situation like this. That's right, this is my secret hideout. I know every single piece of junk in here. Maybe I knew that a day like this was coming. Was it just a coincidence that it was there? Oh shit, it's the hatchet. Or is it the butcher's knife? I had pulled out is it a meat cleaver? I had pulled out a meter-long lead pipe. Oh man, bro, it's a fucking... Where's the hatchet? Where's the cleaver? I raised it up high and brought it back down. There was no way Rina could block this hard and heavy lead pipe with just her arms. She probably tried to block it with the palms of her hands in order to take it from me, but her long nails wouldn't let that happen. Unable to catch it the way she wanted, she broke her fingers and some of her nails came off too. Her scream made me realize that I had the advantage, an advantage I would have to keep. If I didn't, she'd turn the tables just like I did, and then she'd choke me to death for sure. Rina shielded her head with her arms, but it didn't help. All that would change is that I'd break her arms before I broke her face. I'm serious too. Die, die, die. You should die. Yeah, that's right. I should have done this a long time ago. I didn't need proof. I didn't have to ask and talk to anybody. That's stupid. That's nonsense. I should have done this a long time ago. Oh my god. Chat. Which chapter was it when the beginning of the chapter they find a fucking woman's body in the pipe? Was it chapter 4? Chapter 3? And then after that happened, didn't Teppei return back to... Yeah, no. Yeah. I think Rina was that body. And then now, Teppei will probably return to Hinamizawa. Forgot but her nails were gone? Yeah, why are her nails gone? Probably because they all got fucking obliterated when she was trying to fucking block the fucking lead pipe. If I had done it a long time ago, my father wouldn't have been deceived. I could have protected him. I could have protected my family. I could have protected my life. I could have been myself. My mother wouldn't have divorced my father. I could have stayed happy. I wouldn't have had to be unhappy. I'm going to recapture my happiness. At this moment, I'm going to win back my happiness. I'm not going to cry for misfortune. I'm not going to give in to a fate of unhappiness. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to seize my happiness right now with my own 2 hands. Rina tried to run away from me, but as she no longer had the use of her hands, it made it difficult for her to stand up to escape, especially since there were scraps of junk everywhere underground. After all, this is my hideout. This is my territory. Nobody can run away from me here. She tried to climb up the slope of garbage, slipped, fell, and rolled all the way back down. She didn't stand up or move. Her eyes were open and her neck was bent at an unnatural angle. Ooh. I didn't know how to make sure she was dead, so I kept looking at her opened eyes for a while. She could be faking it for all I know. She didn't close her eyes no matter how long I waited. I scooped up a handful of sand and threw it in her face. She still didn't close her eyes. The lead pipe slipped out of my hand and hit the ground. When I tried to pick it up, I realized how heavy it was, and I was surprised that I was wielding it as though it was a knife. I was sweating all over, though a cold wind felt good on my skin. The cries of the Higurashi were calming me down and healing my soul. Rina was just like a broken dummy now. She had become a piece of junk. I am the owner of this land of junk, and I've defended it from her intrusion. Now she was a resident of this junkyard. I didn't feel bad about killing her. In fact, I felt rather fulfilled that I defeated the evil woman who had deceived my father. I started breathing slowly and calmly, and I regained enough energy to analyze the situation. I'd have to hide her body. First, I'd have to get rid of her scooter. I climbed up the slope and kicked her scooter down the hill. It rolled down the slope, making a lot of noise, and blended in with all the junk as it stopped, like it was there from the beginning. I went back down the slope and started dragging her body to my hideout. It should have taken as much effort as dragging a 50-kilogram sandbag, but it felt lighter than that. It was just a sandbag, yet it brought disaster to my family. I didn't lure her here in order to kill her. Or did I? Maybe I just didn't notice that I had that intention deep down in my heart. But even so, I felt like this was the best and most expedient solution. There was no better solution than killing her. How wasteful to depend on someone to help me, to wait for the day to come when they will. I remembered the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt that happened last year. I know that the Satoshi-kun murdered her, but I've never been as convinced as I am right at this moment. How could he have saved Satoko-chan, other than by killing his aunt last year, at this time, in that circumstance? My situation was much the same as his. How could I have saved my father other than by killing her? If I was planning a murder, I would have been under a lot of pressure and stress. But for better or for worse, the moment came to me out of nowhere. That's why I believe I solved my problem with as little trouble as possible. Now that she's gone, will anyone become suspicious about her disappearance? She was an irresponsible person who skipped work at her own convenience. So I didn't think anybody would get suspicious when she disappeared one day. She was a big mess from the start. Well, the issue is you fucking asked to meet Kasai. People will think she went into hiding because she got into deep trouble with someone. I didn't need to fabricate an alibi. All I needed to do was get rid of her body. It took me a while to figure out how to do that last part. Hiding her body would be very risky, but my brain had become so calm that it did some calculations and came up with an answer right away. Yes, this place is still the safest. This is a place forgotten. Nobody came here. Nobody knows this place is here. I knew that because I'd been spending a lot of time here. Compared to taking the risk of carrying her body to some other place, it was a lot safer to just hide it here. Oh, so maybe it wasn't maybe that wasn't Rena, but it wasn't perfect yet. This place wouldn't remain a secret forever. I could hide it here for now, but I'd have to come up with the perfect way to make it completely disappear. Oh wait, no, maybe she moved it later. It's a lot easier to think about that than thinking about how to make Rena break up with my father. How about her car, though? I stuffed her corpse into a broken refrigerator and a trash pile. I wanted to cover the refrigerator with dirt and bury it, but that was too easy. I had to chop the corpse into pieces and make them completely disappear. I felt like it got dark all of a sudden. No, it didn't get dark all of a sudden. I just didn't realize it was getting dark until just then. I could hear thunder from a distance. It might rain soon. I could use some rain. It'd wash Rena's dirty blood into the ground. I should go home. I should think about what I do tomorrow. I was going to stay right beside my father until he forgets about her. He might be hurt at first, but we're going to recapture our happiness for sure. Our happy, peaceful life. My body was heavy with exhaustion, but I also felt fulfilled because I took a very important first step today. I'll keep taking one step after another. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'm not going to cry until I win back my happiness. I'm not going to cry again. Damn, bro. Alright. I did say Rena's probably gonna fucking die this chapter.
再婚なんかする必要ないよ。
That was the first thing I said after I got home. My father looked stunned. He noticed a sad tone in my voice and realized that I didn't agree with the idea of his remarriage. He looked down.
無理もないよな。レイナの気持ちもわかるよ。事前にレイナにもよく相談。
プロポーズなんて取り消せばいい。
あんな女なんて言い方しちゃダメだ。リナさんは
本当のことを話す。あの女と鉄という男は二人組の悪人。我が家の財産を狙ってお父さんに近づいてきただけ。
My father didn't get it right away, of course. He looked upset and said because I called her that woman. I should have chosen my words a little more carefully, but I think I told him the truth clearly enough. I told him everything I heard and saw at the coffee house. As I expected, he defended Rina anyway. I was upset, but at the same time, it made me certain that there was no other way than to kill her. I felt the pressure on my shoulder lessen for some reason. My father thought he needed my approval for his remarriage, so he held back his anger and put a fake smile on his face
な
instead.
あレイナ、もう一度ゆっくりとお父さんたちと話し合おう。そうすればきっと分かってくれるから。
A tamed animal is still tamed, even after the owner is dead. That's okay. I'll open the gate anyway. Even a tamed animal will notice one day that he's no longer in captivity. That's not something that I could teach him. He had to realize it on his own. I couldn't stand his fake smile anymore, so I left the living room. Time healed the pain from the divorce. Time heals any kind of pain, just like how dripping water will eventually bore a hole through a solid rock. I did what I could do, now I have to wait. But the day I was going to wait for came earlier than I expected. At midnight of the following day, we had a visitor. It was that Techan man. Teppei Hojo. Teppei didn't even knock on the door to get in. He broke into the house by smashing the window. At first, I thought he came here to ask about Rina's whereabouts, but I was wrong. The real reason why Teppei came here was because it was their plan. It was the last stage of their badger game. Rina was probably supposed to be in bed with my father at that time tonight. Teppei must have wanted to show up and catch them sleeping together. Teppei looked around the house, but he couldn't find Rina. He didn't change the plan, though. He grabbed my father by his collar and started yelling threats. He showed my father a certificate of marriage to Rina and shouted at him saying, "You got my wife pregnant, how are you going to take responsibility?" My father had no idea she was married. He looked shocked. My father is a short guy who is faint of heart. He just let Teppei do and say whatever he wanted from beginning to end. I looked at them from a distance coldly. The more Teppei yelled and threatened my father, the faster he'd wake up from his bad dream. This was a medicine for him. Teppei was cutting out the cancer that I was going to depend on time to do, and he was doing a great job of it. Wait, Rena's cheering Teppei on. I waited to help my father until I was sure that he finally awakened from his bad dream. I told Teppei that I had something very important to tell him and took him outside.
で、なんじゃ重要な話っちゅうんは。
リナさんって昨日以来沖宮に帰ってますか？
ん？
実はリナさん事情があって隠れてるんです。
あ？どういうこっちゃ？
リナさんから哲平さんが来たら連れてきてほしいと言われてるんです。
あ？律子のやつどうしたんね？
Rena, there's no way you could kill Teppei too. There's no way she can double kill, bro. We walked in the darkness with a flashlight to the place where nobody comes. Nobody can hear us. The place forgotten. He asked me many things on the way, but I couldn't answer any of them. I just told him to ask Rina. The way I said it seemed to make him think that Rina was going to betray him and get married to my father for real. Even though he was breathing heavily in rage, he walked right behind me without any suspicions. I knew this day was going to come very soon, so I was well prepared for it. We reached a place where I originally planned to bring him, and I turned off the flashlight all of a sudden.
どうしたんね？
Everyone gets nervous when the only light in the dark goes off, but this is my territory. I didn't need any light. I could feel my surroundings even better with my eyes closed. I grabbed the big hatchet I'd hidden in a bush. There's the hatchet! And lifted it up high. Bro, Rena's actually... Bro, fucking Keiichi and Satoshi are fucking pussies. Rena does, in the first, 3 chapters of this chapter, what fucking it takes, a whole entire fucking visual novel for Keiichi to do. But she double kills.
ごめんなさい。電池の接触不良かな。ちょっと待ってくださいね。
ああ、はよせんとね。
I purposely sounded weak and helpless while I raised the hatchet into the air.
ああ、ライターあるわ。出すんね。
Teppei found a lighter in his pocket and lit it up. He probably couldn't understand the sight illuminated by that small light. He saw a girl lifting up a big hatchet right in front of him.
Huh?
Teppei's eyes went wide. He didn't understand what was going on, but he understood that his life was in danger. And yet, he must not have been able to think fast enough to deal with it, even though he understood what he should do. Even if he could think fast enough and blocked his head with his arms, it wouldn't have meant anything. I knew Teppei would come into my house eventually. That's why I prepared for that day. I just didn't think that preparation was going to bear fruit tonight. I chose my weapon very carefully. I planned when, where, and how I was going to attack him. And so, there can only be one result. The hatchet cut deeply into his forehead. Headshot! I felt an indescribable vibration through the hatchet when it hit him, and this told me that I broke his skull. He bragged about how good he was at fighting at the coffee house, but he sure went down quickly when faced with a murderous weapon. He was done in by a single blow. Teppei slowly fell to his side with the hatchet in his forehead. He looked like a victim in a B movie. I killed this big guy with just one hatchet. He was probably quite experienced in the world of violence, but I was better than him when it came to killing. Why? Because I've killed someone before. It's all done now. The bad people who deceived my father and tried to rob him blind are all gone. I did what I had to do in order to protect my life. If I had this much courage and determination when my mom told me about the divorce, I might have killed Akihito. Okay. If I did, I would have taken the life of only one. Because I couldn't do it back then, I had to kill 2 people in the last 2 days. Rena, let's finish it up. There's already a place to hide his body. I took care of everything. My hands were wet, so I shone the flashlight at them. Thought it was blood, but it was just sweat. Even so, I still felt uncomfortable and shone the flashlight at my hands several times. I did all this in order to be happy. I did all this so I should be happy now. I tried so hard that I got blood on my hands. I want to get credit for that from him. Oishiro-sama, let me ask you a question. I can finally rewind the time back to the day everything started to go wrong, can't I? I'm going to stay in Hinamizawa. I'm going to live happily with my father forever. Shion next, please. Why would she kill Shion, bro? Rena the type to kill everybody that comes to investigate her, though. Like, imagine Oishi's like, oh, it's the trail leads to this dump site, and then he sees Rena's like, hey, girl, you see anything suspicious here? And Rena be like, yeah, come over here, Oishi. Oishi's like, and then she's like, blah. It's rare to see Rena sleep in class. She isn't the kind of girl who sleeps in class because of staying up so late. She had to be tired from doing housework or something. Everybody seemed to be thinking the same thing. Nobody tried to wake her up, not even Chia-sensei. She got up for a few seconds and went back to sleep. She swayed back and forth like she was rowing a boat, but she's in class, so I should wake her up, right? I was about to wake her up, but before my hands touched her, Mion gave me a sign not to.
寝かせてあげなよ。たまにはそういう日もあるよ。
うん、それもそうだな。
Well, honestly, this timeline is actually the best. Rena not only solved the issue about herself, Satoko doesn't have to get tortured by the uncle anymore. Because she killed Teppei too. Bro, she literally just solved every issue in Higurashi. I heard a few days ago that Rena lives with her father. She studies during the day, plays a lot after school, and does things around the house after that. I didn't know that. I also didn't know her mother had divorced her father. Mion told me that, and she also told me not to talk about it because Rena is still hurt by the divorce.
そんな苦労をしてるなんて全然気づきもしなかったぜ。
レナはそういうのを表に出さないタイプだよね。
So who's gonna be the target for Watanagashi though? That's the only thing that's left.
ひょっとすると普段陽気に振る舞っているのもそういう風に意識して振る舞っているからかもね。
The same two. Well, we know fucking what's his name? Tomitake and Takano are both gonna die, but like, I mean, besides them, you know, Rena told me that happy days will one day come to an end. Wait, what if Rena is who kills Tomitake and Takano? Because what if Tomitake and Takano like find out, and the whole time what actually kills Tomitake and Takano every timeline is actually Rena? Because think about it, Tomitake randomly keeps going to the dump. Remember all those chapters ago? Keiichi's at the dump and he runs into Tomitake all the time, right? You're just being dumb now? No, that's not true. Tomitake has been found at the dump multiple times, right? And then also Takano just weirdly happens to know all these things that happened in Hinamizawa. So she told me she knew that firsthand. What could she have been through? I had no idea. That's probably why she tried to spend as much time as peacefully and cheerfully as she could. I must have hurt her feelings when I said I was bored of having happy days. When I thought about it, I felt bad for living off my parents who are both healthy and happy. For that matter, Satoko and Rika-chan lost their parents too. Mion lives with her grandmother away from her parents because she needs to learn to be the head of the Sonozaki family in the future. When I realized all that, I felt bad about my situation.
別にケイちゃんが両親と生活してることを申し訳なく思うことはないよ。
Nah, fuck Keiichi. Mion seemed to have read my mind. She said it with a cool expression on her.
確かに家族ってのは 生まれてきた子供である私たちにとって一番最初のコミュニティなんだと思う。でもね、コミュニティは家族だけじゃないんだよ。
仲間か。
分かってるじゃん。
俺たちはレナにとって家族に負けないくらいの存在なんだろうか。
Do you even remember the state of their corpses? How does Rena even do that to Tomitake? Didn't we have... Was that a tip? Didn't we have that interaction with, like, mature voiced Rika and, Rena? Right? We did, right? And, Rena was talking about how, we don't know if that was Rena. No. Wasn't the text pink? I swear the text was pink. I don't think so. No? Not Rena? Oh, okay.
掃除洗濯、炊事に買い物、それに疲れて昼寝だけして過ごすことだってレナにはできるんだよ。でもレナはそれをしない。放課後の時間いっぱいを私たちと部活をして過ごす。それはつまりなんて言えばいいのかな。そう、仲間ってことなんだよ。
レナにとっては家族と同じくらいの意味のある仲間ってことなのか？
Mion looked stunned, as if she didn't understand what I was talking about.
ああ、ケイちゃんが今日まで仲間って言葉をどういう意味で使ってきたか知らないけどさ。
What's that supposed to mean, huh?
仲間ってのは家族と全く同格じゃないのかな。
難しく考えることではないのですよ。
Rika-chan joined our conversation.
居場所があればいいのです。それがある場所を家族と言ったり仲間と言ったり、呼び方が少し変わるだけのことなのですよ。
リカちゃんにとって家族と仲間は同じものか？
What do you think, Keiichi? She literally doesn't have family left.
僕はそうだと思っていますです。
Listen, nah, Keiichi's a dumb fuck. Literally, Rika is the only person left in her entire bloodline, and like Keiichi's like, are friends like family to you? Like,
サトコもミーも、そしてレナもそうだと思いますですよ。
does he know about it? Yeah, he literally just talked about how Satoko and Rika both lost their parents.
だから私たちはいつも一緒にいようとするんじゃないかな。
リカちゃんはみんなといると寂しくないか？
みんなは家族なのです。寂しくなんかないのですよ。
We are not in an agreement. Satoko was talking with her other classmates, but I'm sure she would nod as well. Rena would too.
俺ちょっと恥ずかしいよ。
ん？
今日まで俺仲間って言葉を使ってきたけどさ、本当の意味で理解してなかったと思う。仲間ってのはもっともっと大切でかけがえのないすげえもんなんだよな。
それすっごく当たり前のことだからさ。もし今日まで分かってなかったならよく胸に刻んだ方がいいよ。
そうだな、そうするぜ。
あとそれを二度と口にしない方がいいかもだね。今ケイちゃんかなり恥ずかしいこと言ってたと思うよ。
After all that, Mion still made fun of me. I think I understand a little better why Rena was always so serious about having fun. I want to be her best friend, and I want to do my best to be deserving of her effort.
ほう。
Rena snored. It sounded cute. Chie-sensei let her sleep in class, but she couldn't let her get away with snoring.
委員長、竜宮さんを起こしねえな。ほらほら。
ほう。
Rena was still half asleep and made a strange noise. Everybody in the class laughed. Rena noticed they were laughing at her, woke up right away, and acted like she wasn't sleeping at all. It looked really funny, and I burst into a fit of laughter. Outside the window, the sky was blue and the clouds were pure white. It was still June, but it looked like the middle of summer. This perfect weather wouldn't last forever. get cloudy and rain all of a sudden. That's why we had to play and raise a ruckus while we still had this perfect weather. The cries of the cicadas sound as if they're laughing at us because we still have some classes left. Ah, damn it, I can't wait for school to finish.
どうしたんだろう。ケイチくんすっごく嬉しそうだね。今日は何かあるの？
別に今日何かあるわけじゃないぜ。今日は今日だし、明日は明日だろ。今日が晴れてるならそれで十分。明日の天気なんか知ったこっちゃないってことさ。だから今日という日を俺は精一杯遊び倒したい。いつ天気が崩れたって後悔しないくらいに徹底的にな。
I learned that from Rena. I learned that peaceful days are the happiest days you can have and that they're irreplaceable.
みよ、それに最近罰ゲームがちょいと刺激不足だぜ。
言うね、ケイちゃん。そこまで言うなら今日の放課後には生き地獄ってやつを拝ましてあげるよ。
ケイチくん、あんまりみーちゃんを挑発しちゃダメだよ。
おいおい、臆すのかよレナ。上等じゃないかよ。また俺たちの実力で大暴れしてやろうぜ。俺とレナの決着だってまだまだついちゃいないんだからな。
I grinned at her and she grinned back.
それもそうだね。よーし、レナも思いっきり頑張るぞ。レナさんには先日の借りがございますものね。きっちり倍返しさせていただきましてですわよ。
いいね、いいね。盛り上がってきたよ。
早く放課後になるといいのです。
I couldn't wait either, but oh, bro, I bet Oishi. This is when Oishi comes in, though. That time we spent just talking together is also very
そうだ、
precious.
早く放課後になるといいな。
Like this is making you think they're about to get into club activities, but then Oishi comes out. Oh, never mind. My favorite wine. Find an easy solution to a big problem. Oh, did we check property estimate last night? Dear Ritsuko Mamiya-sama, Executive Housing Corporation. Attached estimate. We thank you for your past visits and inquiry to our office. We've included the estimate for the property you inquired about. Basic information. Property name Palace of Versailles, room 707. Property code 14M1421. Property type modern condominium. Layout 2LDK. Address Shishibone City, Koiwa Cho 2 Chome. Transportation XXX line, Gogura Station, 5 minutes on foot. Cost 49,800,000 yen. Chat GPT, how much is 49,800,000 yen, Japanese yen to USD, in 1983 to today's dollar? ChatGPT taking a minute to fucking do these currency change. Oh, this shit. Oh my god, stupid motherfucker. ChatGPT more like stupid GPT. Your prompt is ass? Alright, fine. Can you tell me... Oh. So $49,800,000 in 1983 is roughly equivalent to about $700,000 in today's... Oh my god! Did Rena's dad pay out $700,000 for a fucking... for a hoe? Other southeast corner room, elevated floor, condominium, fitness club membership included. Thank you for your interest in this property. Oh my god. Along with future planned developments, the real estate values in and around the Gogura station are expected to rise, and this property is not an exception. As a result, many prospective buyers are interested in this property. Hence, we'd like for you to understand that the selection process for this property will be done via lottery. Also, we also offer celebrity member preferential treatment, granting highly improved chances through additional lottery entries. Please feel free to inquire with our agents for more details. Okay. Satsuko went to join the children playing in the schoolyard. Since I didn't feel like going, I decided to stay at home. Most likely she wouldn't be back until the evening. When Satsuko wasn't around, I had ways of spending time without her. Besides that was what I wanted to do anyway. I stuck my head deep inside the pile of winter futons in the closet and pulled one out. This is Rika POV. Wait, we keep getting Rika tips when this is Rena's. Next I filled a stylish looking glass with ice. The ice made in the freezer smelled of chlorine though, and didn't taste good. Store-bought ice would be the best, but since Satoko kept asking me what I was using it for, I stopped buying it. But it might be worth spending time to think about a good excuse for it if that meant I would be able to enjoy ice without ever again smelling the chlorine. I filled the glass with mineral water and then poured a little bit of another liquid into the glass. Watching the color mix into the transparent water was a very pleasant thing. This wasn't the right way to drink it, but I liked it that way and didn't want to hear any complaints. My body is very convenient because I can get drunk with only a tiny amount. That's why I dilute that small amount with a full glass of water. And thanks to that, I could enjoy a single bottle for a long time. It wasn't bad if you thought about it like that. Why does it sound like Rika has the soul of a fucking old person? I put a cushion on my favorite spot by the window, and with the glass in one hand, I enjoyed the familiar view and the soft wind brushing through my hair. A slight sweet, ripened aroma tickled my nose. And just when I was about to start enjoying the atmosphere, the annoying one came back. She didn't like this bad habit of mine, and she complained every time I tilted the glass. She started nagging me noisily.
うるさいな。少しくらい我慢なさい。何を飲もうと食おうと、私の勝手でしょ。
ダメなのです。その飲み物はあなたにはまだ早いのです。
Oh? This might be Hanyu. I tried to ignore her, but she started making a fuss as if trying to ruin the atmosphere on purpose. There was no way I could enjoy getting drunk like this. I glared at her and threw the drink out the window.
なんで私が憂鬱か知りたい？私の死に方が決まったからよ。
It seemed like she finally understood why I wanted to drown myself in
そんな
alcohol.
に落ち込まなくてもいいのよ。割と一瞬で死ねるから、そんなに怖くないわ。
My body will be burned and cut in pieces, but I'll be able to die instantly.
でもまたダメなのです。
そうね。またダメね。これだと。私の命日はいつだっけ
？6月の25日の夜だと思いましたです。
綿流しの祭りが終わってからだいたい1週間後か。まあ妥当なあたりね。
やっぱり僕のせいなのでしょうか？
決まってるでしょ。あんた自覚ないの？
Why does that sound like Rena? She was the one who asked me, yet she cried when I told her she was right. Ah, geez, she's always so
頑張り
annoying.
ましょう。次のすごろくではきっと6が立て続けに出てくれることもあるわよ。
June 25th. I still had 10 more days. I was going to relax and enjoy these 10 days. I still had some wine left too. Okay. Alright. Well, chat. That's where we leave off today. Only 6 hours in stream. 6.5 hours. And we're coming back for the HSR stream. So that's where we're leaving off today, buddies. Yes. All right. When is it? Is it the normal time? Yeah, 4:30 a.m. Man, that's late. Oh, fucking God. I'm gonna try to sleep before, but 4:30 a.m. Nefer drip? Ooh, sometimes I talk to snakes too. They tell me that even the most cold-blooded among them seeks out the branch best suited for it to coil upon. It's a good thing that Nodcry is home to so many trees, more than enough for every snake to find a place that it can truly call its own. Holy legs. Jesus Christ. Woo! Jesus Christ, those thighs. That's all I gotta say. God damn, bro. Yo, she barely has any likes, man. Where are the likes at? Come on. I gotta get more likes on this. Her alt? Alright, most people seem to like her. Nice. Never. What the fuck is that? Alright. It's kind of a different time for drip? Yeah, it definitely is. Genshin drip usually is in the morning, so I'm very confused as to why they're dripping at this time, but also, don't they drip on, Monday mornings? Like, this is way, like, way ahead of schedule. But, alright, chat. Well, let's, feed the duckies. They could drip 5 hours later? Ah, maybe. I'll see you guys in about 5 hours. Ugh, God. We got the HSR stream. I'll probably go live about an hour before HSR stream.